Welcome to Slice of Lyme, where every episode brings a fresh dose of truth, resilience, and hope. We're not medical professionals, and this is not medical advice. We're simply sharing what's worked for us on our own healing journeys. Today's episode is brought to you by TickNet. This eco-friendly, non-toxic, reusable glove helps to find and remove loose ticks from pets and yourself. If you're hiking, walking, or just hanging out outside, TickNet is a must. Use code SLICE, S-L-I-C-E, for 10% off.
Welcome back to Slice of Lyme. I'm Abby. I'm your host today, here with Kristen, Bibi, and Callie. Today we're talking about summer plans and tick prevention as the weather warms up. But first of all, we wanted to show you guys that we are working on our merch store. You can find the link in our bios on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We've got our coffee mugs. I think Kristen also has a coffee mug. And then we've got hats, notebooks, clothing items. So we're super excited about that. We hope that you will check it out and let us know what you think. Before we started recording, we were talking about our summer plans, and we are some outdoor girlies for sure. We like to frolic in the fields, gallivant in the woods, tan on the beach. I love to trail run. And we are talking about the importance of being tick aware and what we do to protect ourselves from any additional exposure. I have an unpopular opinion that I shared with the group before we started recording, that I use DEET and Permethrin. Everybody else is very natural here. I'm a DEET and Permethrin user for sure. Like if I know I'm going for a hike or a trail run, I'm going to spray my clothes with Permethrin the day before. Only my outer layers, right? Like I'm not putting Permethrin on my drawers. I feel like that would not go well. But Permethrin on outer layers, and then I leave it outside overnight. Then when I get to the trailhead, I use DEET Deep Woods. And then all of my dogs, all of my pets have Seresto flea and tick collars. So I'm pretty heavy on the rough stuff. But for me, that helps me feel confident in getting out into the woods. I have not tried essential oils. I have not tried more of the natural alternatives because the DEET and Permethrin, as it comes with its own kind of risks and benefits, for me helps quell some of that anxiety that I have about being re-exposed. So I know everybody has their own thing. I think, who said that they used essential oil mixtures?
I do. I use a few of the lemon oil, peppermint, and there's a few of the organic products that work. I also use Mom's Organic tick spray, and it doesn't smell very
yeah,
good.
I've
It's
used
just a
that.
bunch of different essential oils, but I haven't had any ticks on me since I've been out this year, and I've heard that it's a really bad year, at least where I live so far.
I go to the baby section of like Walmart or Target and I get the like fully organic baby insect repellent. Had to think about that word for a second. But yeah, it's got like lemongrass in it, citronella, the peppermint, all the essential oils. But Abby, I do like DEET sometimes, but I'll put it on my shoes and my kids' shoes. But there's something about putting DEET on my skin that scares me. So on clothes and shoes, I'll use DEET, and then everywhere else, the essential oils.
Okay, interesting. What are you putting on your hair?
The essential oils.
Essential oils.
I'm like covered in the oil. Like you can see the shine with how much I'm putting on.
So I'm looking at it right now. I use Wondercide because I'm like, which essential oils are in this? I use Wondercide, which is, it's essential oil based. And the main essential oil that they use is cedar wood. So it's for mosquitoes and ticks. And that's why I'm like looking at it. I can't like really read it, but it's the sesame oil based with the cedar wood. But yeah, I use that for myself and my kids. So I don't make my own mixture, but I buy a product that is based in essential oils. But to be fair, I don't frolic in the woods. I have a
Not a
I have
frolicker.
I have a deep fear of going into the woods at this point. Like I will look at tall grass and just completely avoid that and be completely freaked out. So I am not yet of the mindset of someone that can walk into the woods and feel comfortable. So I think, being in my outdoor, like short grass area with Wondercide for me feels very comfortable at this point in time.
I only ever use essential oils to clean my house. Like I use the lemongrass and tea tree. I actually diffuse tea tree in the house, but I use lemongrass like in my half water, half vinegar cleaner. And so I don't know like if what I have now I can make something at home. I'm willing to try it and just see what happens because I know DEET is not the best option, but yeah, I think it's really interesting how we all use a little bit of just different things.
You mentioned what you use for your dog. You have the collars, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Um,
Suristo.
yeah, so my dog, we just moved to the mountains about like 9 months ago, and she recently got diagnosed with Lyme disease. And I had been trying to use just the essential oils on her, like sprinkle them on her when we would go out, but she's short in that grass and they get all in her face and in her nose. And so I recently put her on Brevecto, which is like the pill, and I don't really know how I feel about having all those toxins in her. But the Brevecto lasts for 3 months, so I'll only give it to her probably twice this year. But I know that you're maybe more of the chemical person. Do you guys, I don't even know if you guys actually have dogs or not. What do you guys use?
I have two dogs and we use Brevecto. Yeah.
Yeah, same. We have two dogs and we use the pill too. I was reluctant at first because I was scared it caused cancers and all of that, but um I mean it prevents the dog from getting like the ticks, the fleas, and those can carry like all kinds of diseases. So I don't know, I just feel better knowing that they're a little more protected. Um because for a while when I wasn't using it, I was finding ticks on my dogs. They haven't gotten sick, but it might be interesting to at least get them tested and make sure they don't have any tick-borne diseases. But ever
Yeah.
since they started the pill, I haven't found any ticks on them.
So the weird thing about Riley's Lyme diagnosis is she never had any symptoms. But she's like one of those super dogs that doesn't ever complain about anything. But the vet told me that it really affects their kidneys as well as their joints. So if they're slowing down and they're limping, or you can notice any kind of kidney problems, I guess that might be like urination problems, then definitely get them to the vet. And looking back on it, I kind of wish that I had, because she had like 4 or 5 ticks on her at one point this fall, and I
Oh,
wish that I had just immediately started the antibiotics at that point, but the vet wanted to wait for 6 months until her test was positive. But oh, and tests are when we test humans, when we test us, that more accurate tests, those are like thousands of dollars, but the test for dogs is like maybe 20, $30. It's really
Wow.
easy and it's a lot more accurate.
that's
And
crazy.
That is
apparently it
crazy.
does really work with antibiotics. Like it can treat with 30 days. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Wow. Did I
Yeah.
ever tell you guys how I had my big tick exposure? I don't know if we ever got into the story, even off recording. So speaking of tick prevention, it was, gosh, probably 2015 or 2016 when my dog and I went hiking, and I had just gotten out into like the world on my own and like rescued this dog, and I was just really winging it. And we went on this hike, and it was a very nice hike, like waterfalls and fields, and it was beautiful. Anyways, we came home and I brushed him, and he had a few ticks fall off, and I was like, whatever, no big deal. And then I took a shower, and I had a few ticks fall off me in the shower. Well, my dog used to sleep in my bed, and so that night we got in bed together. And in the middle of the night, I remember just like being itchy, and I kept waking up and then like going back to sleep. And it was like this weird sleep. Anyways, I eventually took the covers off, and there was ticks all over the bed. And I know it's up for debate. People are like, there's no tick nest, there's no whatever. I swear on everything, there was hundreds of ticks in the bed
Oh God.
everywhere. And so I like got up and like gathered all the bed sheets and threw them outside. And it was the middle of the night. I had, I hiked a huge hike, and then I probably drank more alcohol than I should have. And I just went back to sleep. Like I didn't take another shower. I didn't do anything different. I went back to sleep on the couch, didn't even like address the dog or anything. And that morning, like we were still finding ticks in the house. Like it was
Wow.
insane. And of course, like I was a young adult at the time. I mean, I'm still a young adult, but anyways, I was younger then, and I didn't like go to the doctor. The people I was living with, like nobody thought it was a big deal. We just like totally let it slide and just like washed the bed sheets and like went about our daily life. And I was like, that wasn't even it for me. Like, I did not consider it a big deal. It took like another 2 years or so when my dog got fleas that I was like, oh, he needs like a Seresto collar or something. And then I still like, it was a couple of years after that I started having symptoms of Lyme. So it was traumatic.
Wow.
So not just like one tick, 100 ticks.
They were everywhere.
that's
I mean, it was
terrifying.
like a horror movie. It was a horror movie.
I think that's probably everybody's horror movie. Like, that's just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know, I
that's-
never found one attached to me. Ever.
That's so scary. Did your symptoms start after COVID or before COVID?
My symptoms started in like mid 2019 after I had the procedure. Um, but they were very like, I don't know, easy-ish to deal with. I mean, they were bothersome, like the vertigo and the like tingling. But then when I was exposed to mold, that's when things got worse. And again, I didn't take tick prevention seriously. I think up until like for my dog, when he finally got fleas, which probably would have been like 2017, 2018. But for myself, I didn't take tick prevention seriously until probably like 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Do you know what would have prevented all those ticks in your bed?
Staying on the couch.
Tick
A tick
mitt.
mitt. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
So, you need to check out Shark Tank. They recently had an episode on there, and I've been using them now for a few months. And it's like this little mitt that you put on your hand, and when you're done hiking or doing anything outside, I mean, really anything outside, I recommend, you just take the tick mitt and run it all over your clothes, all over your dog, and it'll pick up the ticks. And then you throw it in the dryer, let it dry for like 30 minutes, and then that kills them. And then that way you're not bringing all the ticks in your house.
You guys all use that?
I'm gonna order some,
I've ordered,
especially
yeah,
like
same.
especially
They
this
make them
summer
for kids
season.
now too. Yeah, yeah.
Or is it like a tiny tick mitt?
Yeah, they make them for kids now. So like the kids, so your kids are aware. I mean, my kids are fully aware of ticks now, of tick prevention, and then they can also rub themselves and the dog too. So like you have your own, they have theirs, and yeah.
I like having two. I have one in the car for when I'm hiking, and then the one is always in the dryer usually, and it's just kind of swapping them out. So, yeah, check them out, Abby.
I need to. Yeah, that's like the lint roller thing that people do sometimes, right? Like after you not lint roller. Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah,
That's the word?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where people are like when you finish hiking, like lint roll your clothes to see if you can pick up ticks. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like
I've
that,
seen
but
that.
probably more effective.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
a lot more effective than the lint
Yeah.
roller.
yeah.
I
Have you
think
guys?
it's specially designed to, because ticks have those like claws, they can like claw into your skin or whatever. It's like specially designed to remove the tick specifically, like patented design to do that. So, and I mean, the good thing is when you kill the tick, then you can send it in for testing. So if it was found on your body or it latched on, but you removed it, now you can test the tick to see if it has any of the Borrelia or co-infection bacteria or parasite, whatever within it. So then you know, like, what you need to do next.
And those tests are more accurate than like the Western blot and the ELISA, right? So they're like, we should probably send the tick in when we get bit. That way we really know if we should start those antibiotics or start some kind of protocol immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that you can send your ticks to I think IGNX and I think it's Tickenology. And then I believe you can send them for free. I think you said this, Bibi, in Pennsylvania. Is that right?
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, they have Tick Lab. If you're a resident of Pennsylvania, you can send it in there, or you can pay $50 if you're a non Pennsylvania resident. And I'm wondering, I think that there might be other states that offer something similar to that. And there may even be universities or local colleges or something that will test it out for free as well. So if you're tight on funds, check out some organizations that might be able to help you.
Yeah. We'll have to put those links in the show note captions or whatever so people can see, especially the tick mitt stuff, because I need that link.
It's so cool, and they're so bright and colorful, and so it makes coming home fun and maybe finding those little critters fun.
Yeah, they are cute.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a word I would use to describe them, but okay.
So, okay, wait, I have one more question.
Oh, you mean
about
the
tick
mitt, not the tick.
The net, yeah.
The ticks are cute.
Oh yeah, they're so
Ticks are
cute.
cute.
Oh my God.
That's why we're cute.
Exactly.
So the mitt, sorry, we're gonna move on, I promise. The mitt, you rub it on your clothes and your skin, like it's kind of just in everything.
Yeah.
And your hair.
Yeah. Yeah, your hair,
Like
your
your, like,
dog's
breath.
hair. You might want to have one for your dog and one for you, but I'm gross, so I just do one for me and my dog.
Well, he can't hike anymore. He's so blind, so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said, yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. What else? What else are we doing? So we have tick mitt. We have you all have non-chemical sprays. I know that when I go hiking or trail running, I wear longer socks, like not necessarily knee socks, probably a little higher than ankle socks. My problem is, and this is a full confession here, I don't like light colored clothing, so a lot of my hiking stuff is dark, and so I know that's a problem. And when I think about my socks, I'm like, they're like bluish, purplish, like black hiking socks, and I know I should do better in terms of like brighter colors, but I struggle with that.
I wear leggings too in the woods. Even when it's hot. I don't know if it helps, but it makes me feel like a sense of security that I don't have like open legs for those ticks to come crawl on. Um, do y'all use leggings or what are y'all using?
I mean, when I'm out on a hike, I have like three different outfits that I change into because I get really hot and then I get really cold. But I do prefer to do the leggings, and I always have socks, the long socks on. I've read about some of those socks that have tick repellent in them, but I'm not sure if they actually exist. We were talking about this yesterday as well.
I did
Um,
some research last night on those, BB.
what did you
They
find
do
out?
exist. Yeah, they do exist, but they wash out. So like after a couple loads of laundry, it's washed out.
So
So
is it
I think
basically like putting essential oil on your socks? Like, is
it's some
that the
chemical
same
that
thing?
starts with a P. And
Permethrin?
yes, that.
Yeah,
And it said,
that's what I use. Yeah.
okay, but it washes out. And so you're paying a premium for these socks that are just going to wash out when you could just buy high socks and then spray it with Permethrin yourself or put essential oils on it.
I had a guy recently comment on one of my TikTok videos, and he's in the military, and he said that when they're out in whatever they're doing out there, they're wearing pantyhose over their legs to prevent ticks. And I thought that was
That's
a really
interesting.
good tip. I mean, it sounds miserable in the heat, but he's like, that's all we were doing. I think that's pretty cool.
It's quite interesting. I'm like picturing a bunch of army guys wearing, you said pantyhose?
Yeah.
That's like a really funny
Manly.
like, image. A bunch of men running through the woods in pantyhose.
Pantyhose.
I picture them like singing the men. It's so good.
At least they're aware, you know.
Yeah, true.
But,
Yeah.
True.
Like I said, I don't really go in the woods at this point. I'm not ready. But for my kids, like we do full tick checks when they come home. And similar to Abby, my first incident with getting Lyme was sleeping with my dog and having a tick on me. So I no longer sleep with my dogs. They know they're not allowed on the bed. They sleep next to the bed in their own dog bed. And that's that. I mean, the dog that I had that initially had the tick, she has passed. because that was like our thing. It was like I got her in college and she was my baby and she just slept between my legs and like that was our little lifestyle. But that I refuse to sleep with dogs. That's just I can't after what had happened. So it's just an extra way to prevent a potential bite or infection. Yeah.
It's really hard to keep the dogs off the bed. I struggle. Um, but I mean, I probably shouldn't let them in, but it's hard.
I shouldn't, but I do it. I yeah, no shame. I sleep with my dog, and
I do too.
it's my life. She's my baby.
Yeah. No shame. It's just what happened to me. I just can't anymore. So
See, I did not. I was like, oh, this is my like child, like you're fine. But then he went blind and he was like falling out of the bed and like getting injured. And so that's when I was
Oh,
like, you're finished. But we have a miniature dachshund as well, and she's like 8 pounds. And honestly, she sleeps in the bed. Can't help it.
I wish that my like heart could handle not having the dog in the bed, but I can't do it. I can't sleep without her. It's become a thing.
well, that's why you have tick mitt. You wipe her
Yeah.
down
exactly.
right before bed and
I
and you're fine.
shower, wipe her with
Shower.
tick mitt, and then we're good.
Yeah.
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 Are you bathing your dog after hikes, or you're just doing tick mitt?
I just do tick mitt. She's got a little bit of longer hair, and I just don't want to deal with it. Mm.
Yeah, because you
So
hike a lot, so that would be like regular bathing for the dog,
Yeah.
like almost daily
yeah,
probably.
yeah, and it's not good for their skin at some point. So I just cross my fingers that I don't wake up with ticks in the bed, and if I do, then we'll go get some antibiotics. Woohoo!
So BB, how often are you finding ticks on her after you use the tick mitt?
So far, I've only found one, but over the last few weeks since the weather's warmed up, I have been fighting a flare up and haven't been hiking as much. So it was more of like winter time ticks. So I have no idea what to expect over the winter, but I'll keep you guys updated. Like, I mean, there was one day around here, I live in farmland, and the way they cut their grass around here isn't like normal people cut their grass like every week or every 2 weeks. They like grow their grass really long, I guess, to make hay. I don't know. I'm trying to learn all this country stuff. And so that's, where ticks are living. And she does go through some of that grass sometimes. And in the fall, she was coming out with her nose like just covered in ticks. And so I'm hoping that that will help my fear also of like having to touch them, with my hands and get them off too.
So you're saying that so far using tick mitt, you've only pulled one tick off of her
Just
with the
one
mitt.
with the mitt. Yeah.
But it was
Yes.
like winter
It's
time.
been winter until like the last few weeks. So, and I haven't gotten out over the last few weeks because, I've been flaring and Lyme disease. Woohoo. But we're going out on Monday and I'll be sure to let you know what goes on. And we'll have a little video of what we do with the tick mitt. I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the video.
Gonna be great.
You say uncharted territory, but we're gonna find out. Well, so they are probably growing the grass for hay, for baling hay, which I assume that they would do probably in July or so at like peak heat. But one thing we do, and I don't know your housing situation or your yard situation, like we treat our yard when the weather warms up. We spray yard. I can't think of the name right now. We spray yard spray to like deter or kill the bugs. But to be honest, that's also, I know it's chemical because when you're spraying it, like you just see the bugs falling out of the air. I'm
Oh,
like,
jeez.
I'm so sorry. Listen, as long as the ticks are not in the yard, it's fine. And then the dogs can't go out for like a few hours and they can't eat the grass or whatever. But yeah, sometimes that's what I gotta do to feel confident. But we do treat the yard with whatever chemical spray it is that we use.
We
Yeah,
do too,
do
Abby.
We do Wondercide, so I don't do. Oh, did Callie, you do the same thing? We do the Wondercide spray, the tick spray in our backyard. So similar, just I guess more of a natural based thing, but it makes me feel more comfortable. But sorry, Callie, you do the same thing as Abby.
Yeah, we do the same thing. My husband's deathly allergic to ants and bees. And then I
Ants.
just got my test results back, and it looks like I'm pretty allergic too, but and I'm terrified of ticks. So we are using all the chemicals in our yard. But I've looked into Wondercide, and I kind of want to like try that out because it's more natural. Like I hate chemicals, but at the same time, I don't want my husband to die from ants, and I don't want to get another active Lyme infection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I rent and we don't have a whole lot of, so I don't have any control over what goes on. I have used sprays in the yard before, but that was also prior to me learning about what chemicals and toxins do to the body. But I have had to demand from my landlord, who said that he was going to take care of the lawn, that he cut the grass because he went about a month without cutting the grass and it was so long. It was taller than my dog. And so if you're renting, I mean, yard care, lawn care is super important. And so if you can't do the sprays on the yard, at least make sure that you're doing regular lawn cuts.
Yeah, we do that too. We try to maintain the yard as best we can. Right now, my husband has a broken toe and we have a push mower. And so we're like waiting for our neighbors to lend us their riding mower so we can take care of the grass. It's not crazy long, but I mean, it's getting there. And I'm like, somebody's got to take care of it. I mean, I could push mow, but we live on a hill and it's not on my list of things that I want to do this weekend.
I don't blame you at all.
Abby, if you lived closer, I would give you my riding lawnmower because we don't use it.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna make a trip to Georgia then.
Yeah, if you make a trip down, you can have it for free. You could just
There you go.
Unless I'll see you tomorrow.
perfect.
That's awesome, yeah. You guys are really making me Wonderside and Tickmet like aware. Like I didn't I know these things. I just didn't look into it because again, I think the anxiety of like being exposed to Lyme again is just so strong that it's like I have to use the strongest
Yep.
chemical possible to prevent it. And it's like I probably don't. And so I'm really glad we're having this conversation today.
Yeah. Have you done anything to like help get you back out in nature? Have you found anything like grab a friend and walk with them to try to get your mind off being surrounded by the elements?
Yeah, so my favorite thing, to be honest, is trail running. And I have this road by my house. It's a fire road. And because we kind of live out in the kind of like a little bit in the country, but like 15 minutes west of us is like country. And so I like to run on this fire road. And by the time I get out there and I put the music in, I have this running playlist. Like I can fall into a rhythm pretty easily, but every once in a while, I'm like just thinking, imagine how many ticks are in the grass. Like, what if they fall out of a tree? And so I have to just regularly like ground myself in just the truth of like I'm out here enjoying nature. I've used preventatives. I've done this before and it was fine. And then also just continuing to go out there, right? Like it's, whether it's the fire road, which is gravel and then like a bunch of woods around it, or if I'm on a trail, just continuing to go out there and expose myself to like this kind of the like stress of being where the ticks are. I don't know how to explain it, right? But just like keep going out there and keep desensitizing my systems. Like, no, overall it is safe. And if, if I'm doing everything I can and controlling all the controllables, then like that's all I can do at this point, right? So like using the preventatives, taking a shower when I get home, investing in a tick mitt, that sort of thing, then I just have to keep going out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is all about like going regularly and like not just go out once a month, and it's going out every week. And whether, like, if you start out for a couple of minutes, then that's great. And then try to add 1 or 2 minutes on a little bit, have somebody's hand to hold and get you out there. I know for me, it took, I had to go to a wellness retreat that forced me out into the woods hiking every day. They forced me to hug that tree, and I felt so dang awkward. And I'm like, this is where I'm gonna get Lyme again. And but I'm incredibly I spent 2 weeks out there, and I'm incredibly thankful for them pushing me out there. And then the other thing that has helped me get out again is I went into the jungle and I did ayahuasca, and the visions that you see there and the things that go on when you're doing psychedelics in the middle of the jungle, you lose those fears about the little creepy crawly things that may affect your life. But I've now been out in the woods for about a year and a half, and I haven't had any ticks on me, just on the dog so far. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Let's do everything we can to make sure that stays that way.
I mean, you're always posting these beautiful like scenes of you walking and these trail hikes that you go on, and it is pretty incredible that you can go 7 miles in the woods and, feel comfortable, doing that and safe.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
agree.
that's the main thing. You have to feel safe
yeah. It
in that
didn't
kind of
happen
environment.
overnight though. Like it took time. It took a lot of time.
I'm slowly getting there. We have like an outdoor club that we are a part of. We're very outdoorsy, but I used to be a trail runner, big hiker, but I haven't gotten back to it yet. So I'm starting slow and just using the off-road gator through the trails. Like I have this sense of security that I'm safe in that vehicle.
Yeah.
But just taking it one step at a time, and I know I'll slowly get back to hiking.
Yeah, you still get those benefits in nature even when you're sitting in the gator. I think even if you just go sit in the car and roll your window down by a waterfall or something, like that still counts.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we go to the beach, and I know, there's still deer like around the outside of the beach. I mean, we're still in like a pretty heavily populated, I mean, we're in Connecticut, so I mean, Lyme is named after Lyme, Connecticut. So there's deer everywhere around the beach in the surrounding grass area. So, but I feel comfortable like in the sand. So I feel like that is at this point like a safe place for me that like even though I know ticks probably are surrounding it, like when I get onto the sand, like I feel safe. So like that's like my venture out at this point. But like just finding a somewhere in nature you feel grounded in, I think is a good starting point.
Yeah, I think like speaking of grounding and pulling into what Abby said about going and doing it repeatedly, I think just taking your shoes off and going barefoot in the grass just for 5 minutes a day is just a great starting point. And it doesn't have to be, somewhere wooded. It can be right off the sidewalk in the middle of the city, just remembering that nature's okay and nature can heal you and that you're gonna be all right.
Yeah,
I
there's
love
something
that.
about being barefoot in nature that's very calming and peaceful. And that's been a big part of my healing. Just being outside. Even though being outside made me sick, it's been a big part of my healing journey.
Callie and Kristen, you all are, and I don't know, BB, about your travel. I know you travel a lot, but Callie, I feel like is always at the beach, and Kristen, you just mentioned going to the beach. Are you all doing anything specific for tick prevention when you're at the beach, or any kind of like bug spray or anything along those lines?
So I would just say like the wonder side. Yeah, I don't nothing like or I don't know, Callie, if you do the essential oils, but nothing crazy outside of that. I don't know why. I just feel safer. The beach is like 7 minutes down the road from my house. It's like we're on the Sound. And so it just I don't know, something about the beach is different. And like yeah, I take my shoes off and I ground in the sand and all of that. It feels different than being in a grassy wooded area. Like the other day we were there and I just like laid my whole body in the sand. And like I haven't done that in probably 2 years, and that just felt like so good to me. But I feel less afraid. Kelly, I don't know if you feel the same way. It's
Yeah,
not as daunting.
I completely agree. When I'm at the beach, I just feel like this complete sense of safety. I will bring my essential oils from the baby section of Walmart because there's horseflies at our beach and I never know when they're going to be out. So if they come out, then I'll do the essential oils on us for the horseflies. But yeah, there's just this amazing sense of security on the beach. Like, I feel like I can relax finally. And like, it's like a sense of release, having my feet in the sand and just hearing the ocean waves crash. I don't know if that's why we keep going back to the beach, but it's healing in a way as well.
Yeah. And so it feels safer than like a lush forest or like running around in a big like laying down in a big field or something. I think that
Yes.
makes sense. I don't go to the beach. I mean, maybe like once a year, once every 2 years. And so I don't know. That's why I asked if you all do anything specific in terms of prevention at the beach or if it just feels kind of different. So
I think it feels very different at the beach. I moved there for a little while during my healing journey, and there is a sense of safety, and maybe that's one thing that helped get out in nature because when you're on that sand, you don't feel like the ticks are going to crawl all on you. I'm sure there's always a chance, but it's there is just a sense of security that you get there. Yeah. And I hadn't thought about that, so it's a good point.
Yeah. The other thing I like to do, because again, maybe I limit myself more, or I'm just in the up and down throes of treatment. So it's like, 1 hour is good, the next hour is horrible. But we have a garden outside of my house, and like last year that was so healing for me, and this year I'm like very excited, but like it's right outside. You just have to water your plants, and then you're yielding all of this amazing food. And we do the organic soil and the organic plants, so I'm like growing organic vegetables and berries and stuff. And I don't feel scared that there's ticks in my garden. Like it's just something that I'm like connected to the soil. I walk out there barefoot. I'm with my kids, showing them the different foods. They pull the food directly from the garden and they eat there. And like that, like I said, like last year I was in a very derealized state going through the Babesia treatment. So it just felt like my whole life was a dreamlike state. But that was like my like everyday thing that helped me like get to nature, even though I'm not in a big forest, but get into nature in a way that was grounding and healing. So like, for the person out there that's like, I can't go to the forest right now, I can't walk very far, I can't, like growing a plant or growing a vegetable or something like that, for me was like it's very rewarding and very healing.
Do you think that it would even help, like, because there might be somebody that is just so terrified to even go outside. Would it be helpful to even get like a plant inside and get their hands in that? Do you think that that might be a good first step too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think touching, so isn't like there's something about like if you even are touching soil, like there's like very healing properties in that. So yeah,
Yep.
like even if you're afraid of doing that, or if you have a deck, so if you're afraid of even going out in the grass and you have a deck or an outside
Yep.
balcony or something, like growing some herbs even, that you can put in a tea or whatever, like there's something very, or tomato plant or whatever, there's something very healing about that and rewarding. Like you just grew something that you
Yeah.
can then reap the rewards from. So yeah, I agree, BB. I think there's something really rewarding about that, even if you're afraid to go fully outside.
Yeah, I started with indoor plants, and then when I was really sick in the fall, I needed like vitamin D. I needed to feel alive. I needed more grounding. So I started a deck garden because I wasn't ready to start one in the yard. So my deck turned into this oasis. Um, and yeah, like Kristen was saying, there's something really healing about feeling that soil in your hands and like feeling that connection to earth. And y'all know my house flooded, and so I've been living in this rental, but it was so healing for me having my hands in the soil that I had to bring my garden with me to the rental house.
I love that you did that.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I'm growing like squash and watermelon and mint. I love the mint because it's a natural anti-inflammatory and it's also a natural pain reliever. And I'm allergic to
Oh,
all pain relievers. So if I'm sick, I'll make these homemade teas with mint in it, and it helps me a lot.
I've been adding mint in my tea this past week, and I love it. I,
Yes,
yeah.
it helps with
I'm growing mint
inflammation.
too, but I didn't know it was a pain reliever. So
It is.
that's so interesting.
I need to like hop on board with you all, like mint and all. I'm like learning so much. I can't wait to watch this back and take notes. I'm so excited. But so we just have a couple of minutes left here, and I think that we should end again with some piece of advice for people throughout the summer for tick prevention, for getting back in nature, like whatever speaks to you. What comes to mind for me is just the reminder to do what works for you, what's going to make you comfortable and confident in getting back out there and reclaiming your life. That's where you should start. Of course, I think everybody should be doing their own research and finding what works for them.
I say take baby steps to go outside, really sit with yourself, go inward, and like if your body's really anxious about getting out there, maybe it's just like touching the grass with your finger that day, or and then the next day it's putting your foot on the grass. So just really slow, listen to your gut, trust yourself, and there's no race to get outside. If you're not outside this summer, there's always next summer. So listen to yourself.
I would say, we were talking about tick mitt and like if you find a tick and, you put it in the dryer and then send it out for testing. I think, you know, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of the fact that you can send it for testing, and I would implore you to do that. Only because, like we were saying, like the Western blot, a lot of people are given the Western blot. It's not always accurate. And when you send out a tick, you could find out the tick may have multiple strains of something that your Western blot isn't showing. And that could really help you with your treatment plan, or vice versa. The tick may show it had nothing in it, and then you don't really have to worry. So I think, like, really knowing that, I think a lot of people, or what we used to do, I'll speak to my family, is like flush it down the toilet or burn the tick. It's like whatever you're gonna do to get rid of it, but actually, it's really important to test it and find out what it actually has. And I think that will put your mind at ease in terms of treatment plan or not even needing a treatment plan at all. So that would be my tip.
Um, Sorry, brain fog. Brain fog. When I get put on the spot, sometimes my brain freezes. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I say? Um, yeah, y'all should see me try to do my TikToks. I mean, I've showed y'all some of my my funny my videos that have never made it
Hey.
to the universe. Especially the goggle one.
I love that.
So good.
So I would say my tip, I like what BB was saying is like baby steps. Like everybody's healing journey is different, and don't compare yourself to somebody else because what works for somebody might not work for you. So you have to trust your gut and just take it one step at a time and just really focus on yourself. Because when you sit there and look at other people like, well, it's working for them, you get in this anxiety loop, which isn't helpful and can hold you back from your healing journey. So just taking it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and trusting your gut. Y'all got this.
I love that. Yeah. So we have a lot of things to link in our show note captions or episode summary. I'm saying show note captions from Huberman Lab podcast. You know how, do you guys listen to that? Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure he always says show note captions or yeah. Anyways, we're going to link a bunch of stuff, a bunch of resources for this episode in the episode summary or show note captions. And hopefully listeners like myself have learned a lot today. I might be converting to the essential oil route, so we'll see what happens. But it's always so good to see you all.
Y'all
It's good to
too.
see you.
Yes, you too.
Yeah. Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful week.
Adios.
Thank you for tuning in to Slice of Lyme. We're here to remind you you're not alone, your story matters, and healing is possible. Now be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so send us your questions, stories, or topic suggestions by sliding into our DMs or emailing us at sliceoflimepodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, rest when you need to, speak your truth, and keep showing up for yourself.